I am Jordan van Edekingen.
And I am Marloes Slokker, and our presentation is about
Uganda. The capital is Kampala,
and the countries next to it are
Kenya,
Tanzania,
South Sudan,
and Congo. The main languages are English and Swahili.
Swahili is spoken in Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda.
Uganda, the pearl of Africa, is gifted by nature in extremes. Endowed with 65 ethnicities, divided mainly among Bantu and Nilotic groupings, each of these ethnicities has a distinct culture which is exhibited through its dialect, music, dances, dresses, architecture, and other traditions. Uganda is a singing and dancing country. There is music and dance for every occasion. For marriage, for war, for harvest, for death, for planting, for love, and for birth. Each single ethnicity provides a long repertoire of its music and dances. The secret behind Uganda's traditional music lies behind the various musical instruments that do not need electrification to sound.
During the scramble for colonies in Africa among European countries beginning in 1884, Uganda became a British colony. Britain colonized Uganda for money. Uganda had many resources like skins, cotton, and tobacco. Before British colonization in 1890, the area now known as Uganda was a collection of different ethnic and religious groups. The Bugandans who lived in the southern part of modern Uganda were the largest group in this area. Northern Nilotic and Sudanic tribes and the Bugandans had always had tension between them. In 1890, the British signed a treaty with Uganda establishing colonial rule, which was followed by a 1984 declaration of a British protectorate over Uganda. Eventually, Britain set up an indirect government which favored the Bugandans and upset the northern tribes. While the Bugandan people were being treated well, many northerners were forced to join the Ugandan army.
The conflict officially began in 1986, when the first northern rebel movement took up arms against the southern-based Museveni. But the deeper roots of this north-south divide can be traced back to the late 1800s, during what was called by the imperial European powers the scramble for Africa. Colonization was motivated by the European hunger for African resources. The subsequent exploitation of the African people and the uprooting of their spiritual values by Christian missionaries would leave a permanent European stamp on the continent. Britain cut the largest piece of African cake from Cairo to Cape Town, in addition to Nigeria and a few West African regions. It was also the British Empire that in 1894 imposed an arbitrary boundary around the many diverse ethnic groups and kingdoms that would make up Uganda. The southern Bantu-speaking people were given economic, political, and educational advantage. The northern ethnic groups, two in particular, the Acholi and the Langi, were the main recruits for military and police positions. By exploiting linguistic, ethnic, and cultural differences between the peoples of the North and South, Britain's divide and rule policies created a tension between them that helped maintain British rule.
Beginning in the late 1940s, the Ugandan people began to rebel against British colonial power. Ugandans wanted a more representative government and less British control. The British were beginning to withdraw from India and soon began working with Ugandans to encourage independence. At the London Conference of 1960, the British decided to allow elections in 1961, which would ensure Ugandan independence afterward. Two prominent parties in Uganda, the Uganda People's Congress (UPC) and the Kabaka (KY), competed for leadership positions. The British favored the KY government, and when the election results were in favor for the UPC party, the British announced a new plan for Uganda. The KY was predominantly Buchanan, and the British government declared that Uganda would be allowed internal autonomy if they participated in the national government as well. The peace between these two parties led to independence constitution of 1962 and separate Ugandan government. Uganda became an independent, sovereign nation in 1962.